Yeah, we bought a house. How long ago now?
We bought it. I think we signed the order on the 7th of Jan, and then we settled on the 1st of March.
Yeah. So first of all, like how did you come to decide that you were going to buy your house, or that you wanted to buy a house rather than go on holidays or rent or anything like that?
I pretty much have wanted to own my own place from like day one, like for as long as I can remember. It's actually probably something my mum's drummed into me since I was really, really young.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. So yeah, my mum basically when I grew up was always, her main standpoint was property is probably the one asset that you can always rely on. It's somewhere to live, it's your home, it's your base. So that's always been with me, and I've always been pretty conscious of it.
And stuff like
I
that.
suppose, I mean, I'd been looking online at property searches and that for ages, probably
Domain and real estate.
months, yeah. So realestate.com, Domain, for months prior to when we actually
months,
bought.
like 2 or 6 or 12?
Probably about 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
We've been looking for about 3 or 4, and unfortunately a lot of the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah.
But also there was always something wrong with the property we didn't like, and like for me and Simon, I guess as well, it's just my mum's house is a little bit older, and it's just like the upkeep for it, and it's a big house as well. Upkeep is just insane, and our house is still under builder's warranty.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the look of the modern stuff, the open plan, the stone bench tops. I mean, there are all these things I've picked up over the time, and I'm like, I don't want that in my house. Like, I never wanted a kitchen with tiles on the bench tops, because then all the grout between it gets disgusting and scummy, and so all these things that I picked up. The area, I suppose, looking in the area, I guess probably the primary decision for us is it was affordable.
Yeah.
But it was also somewhere where our bases are at the moment, so we're both from there.
Yeah.
We know the area. We were quite specific with where we wanted to go. I knew I wanted to go to Tarneet.
Yeah.
Because there's a few estates. I mean, you've got Manor Lakes, which is out Wyndham Vale, which is further past where I'm from. For me, that was far too much. Yeah, it's a newer estate, but it's also in quite a well-established part of it. And also the consideration for that was it's really close to a massive shopping centre that's going up. It's not built yet. It's far enough away to be not noise polluted, not getting noise pollution from it, because it's still on a side street. But you could probably walk there within 6 or 7 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
And it's also near the new proposed Tarneet station. So that was selfishly, I was thinking that's good for me when it goes up, because I can walk there, because that's just across the road from the shopping centre. But then also for me, I thought, that's going to be great, because if we do sell, then obviously people are going to want to be close to shopping centres. Also, if they've got kids and that, which it's very much like a house you would go to a family.
Yeah. With the shopping centre and the station and things like that, how did you know that they're going in? Was that your real estate agent, or stuff you found out yourself?
The real estate agent had told us, but we'd been to several real estate agents, and they'd all shown us the sites, and they pointed it out. So we did a little bit of research, and we're looking, and you can see actually on the big block that the shopping centre is going to be built there. There's signs and that there. And it's a pretty large block, but several people had told us.
Yeah.
So we looked into it, and pretty much all of them had said the same thing.
Yeah.
It's close to all schools and that sort of stuff as well.
Places did you actually go and look at, do you think?
Probably about 8 or 9. We looked at a fair few places on the net. I found a few that I liked. The price was maybe a little bit heavy, and we probably could have afforded to get something more than what we did, but I didn't want to go break the bank. First off, I wanted it to be kind of achievable and still have room to enjoy our lives. Into about 10 different real estate agents. Just went and saw all these properties. They gave us some brochures. It's actually really strange with the real estate agents. Simon and I, obviously it was a joint decision, but I was the person that understood the market a little bit better. I suppose it really helped working here.
Yeah.
And understanding property a little bit better. I knew that property values have crashed a little bit.
Yeah.
The market's crashed a bit. The rates are down. And they've dropped since I've done it, but they went up and then they've dropped. I mean, the 50 basis point cut was pretty huge, but I still look, because I fixed, I look at it and go, well, I mean, I got best of both worlds because I fixed with 100% offset anyway. So, but I also look at it and go, well, for me, I still fixed at a pretty damn good rate. So I'd be happy with that. And it's 3 years, so I'm sure in the next 3 years things will change. But I suppose every time I asked an estate agent a question, they always answered Simon, like pretty much, because they're all men.
Yeah.
And the only person that didn't, he was actually the one we wanted to deal with, and he actually had the right property. And he was the one that didn't. He would answer me and answer us both.
Yeah.
Because every one of them would just
Oh
try
my
and
God.
It's ridiculous. And Simon actually made a comment to me. He goes, I feel really uncomfortable because they're trying to get in boys club with me. And he's like, don't look at me. She asked you the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
and the one who has probably the more knowledge of.
Yeah. Well, exactly right.
At least on the lending side of things.
I very much did, and I knew sort of the questions to ask, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But, it was quite amazing.
Just really quickly, do you want to just rattle off things that were important to you, like wardrobes, backyard?
Yep. Okay.
Gas or whatever, that kind of stuff?
Yes. A little bit of space on the bench tops in the bathrooms. I didn't have as much as I'd like, but, it's very rare to get massive ones. So that was pretty important. The stone bench tops, didn't want tiles or laminate or anything. Well, laminate would have been okay, but I liked the stone.
Stone's better, because it doesn't burn.
Yeah, exactly right. Also, I wanted downlights, but this one, they're not downlights, they're downlight look. So they're still set up into the thing, but it's actually normal light bulbs, which is actually quite good. I wanted 3 or 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
So I wanted them, and ideally I wanted them larger.
Yeah.
Which was quite good. The wardrobe, the big walk-in wardrobe was pretty important.
Yeah.
Simon doesn't have any space. He has
another room. Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted a decent-ish backyard. Our backyard's quite strange because it's kind of the same distance all the way around the house.
Okay. That's nice.
But we needed big-ish,
Yeah.
so we needed a backyard because we had Lexi. She's a border collie. We needed it to be close to parks and that sort of stuff, so we can take her for a walk. I wanted I wanted the dark brick. Facade. I didn't want ugly, hideous colouring.
Yeah.
And luckily it was. Didn't want floral anywhere, no floral tiles in bathrooms, none of that sort of stuff. Important also was the colouring inside, very neutrally coloured.
Yeah.
So the colour, because I didn't want to have to paint or any of that sort of stuff. So that was another thing. And also, what else? Oh, the remote control garage. So the double remote control garage, that was pretty massive as well, which we got that. I also wanted a driveway that didn't have, you know how they all have they lead in from the one and go to the two, but we ended up putting that with it.
Yeah. I think working here and working with, people buying houses and stuff like that, how much of a influence do you think that had on you just generally deciding to buy a house over going on holiday? On
the decision, probably not a whole lot, to be honest. It's probably what had the most effect would have been my mum.
Yeah.
Growing up, and she actually said to us a few months ago, she's like, right kids, you got 2 years till you're out. Basically, get out.
Yeah.
So I'm going got to get out, which I wanted to anyway.
Yeah.
The main decision was actually I was really not enjoying being at home anymore.
Yeah.
I needed to get out, and I always wanted to buy, and then it became too long because we had 2 of us. I suppose what working here did for me was increase my confidence in understanding and being okay about the process.
Knowing the process and knowing that you know what you're doing. And having them here
knowing that I would have, because I don't work in resi, so it was still a few learning curves for me, but I suppose understanding the market, having a bit of information about it, being able to talk to Chrissy and Penny, when I wanted to. I'd been looking for a while and chatting to Penny. I think, so we lived in Mini Ponds until I was 8.
Yeah.
Moved on up in the world. Didn't realise then. I'm like, really? But my mum and dad split up.
Yeah.
And he still lives there. So I suppose my mum, I think what actually affected it was probably her life. My mum is a fair bit older, was married before my dad, and has 2 failed marriages essentially. And for her, she had so much of her choice taken away because, you know, she's 69 this year. So she's 69 this year. I know when she first got married, they made her, she was forced to leave her job because she was a married woman.
Really?
So, yeah, so as in not by her husband, I think.
Yeah, as the company.
Yeah, so because of all that sort of stuff, I think it was my mum. Her pushing was probably from her own experience.
Yeah.
And knowing that that was probably the only thing that got her through.
Yeah.
And knowing she had a base. I know when she left my dad, he'd gotten a redundancy package from work, so she bought my house outright, like her house. Rather.
Okay, yeah.
So she bought it outright. And that's probably the one thing, you know.
It's like the rock.
Yeah, it's been the rock for her and her stability. And I guess, I mean, she was on pension, that sort of stuff, so she could never have bought or afforded to pay a mortgage and supported us.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's probably her life.
Yeah.
And seeing that, I never wanted to be dependent on someone.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be able to know that I had something and that I can control it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose it's probably seeing her life, knowing from a young age. I always wanted to own as well because I thought if it's mine, you know, I'll probably take better care of it. I'll feel more comfortable in it. If I thought I was renting someone's house, I'd be terrified I was going to mark walls. And now it's mine, I can really do whatever I want, which it was also, you know, future goals. I want to get investment properties. I mean, I've seen what clients have done.
To start. Yeah.
And you see what they do. And I mean, there's great tax benefits and that sort of stuff from doing it. And once you've got the one, I mean, you can leverage off when values go up and that sort of stuff. You can start to use that and get smart, but it was getting in there.
Really. Getting in, starting.
Yeah.
And what's feedback like from like friends and family about the house and stuff like that?
It. Yeah, love it. My mum, she was really happy.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it was something for her. She loves it. We involved her and Simon's parents in the decision thing. Not really that they were going to have a huge role, but we wanted them to be there and see it before we put an offer on it, so we took them all there. Simon's dad was actually the big one because if someone can find a reason not to do something, it's him.
Yeah.
But he really liked it as well, so everyone quite liked it. And most of my family haven't seen it yet. Some of them have, and those that have love it.
Yeah.
I think it's just because it's such a neutral looking place, and I think we've done an okay job of decorating thus far, even though we haven't really got a whole lot.
Yeah.
I think because we haven't got a whole lot, it looks great. Because
it's not
like
cluttered.
covering it in shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone really likes it. I think my family were all pretty happy for me.
Yeah.
No one was like, why are you doing that? The only person was my sister, who's 2 years older. She wants to move to Brunswick. She thinks because I've moved there that I'm like just another person. She can't believe I don't want to get out of wherever. And I'm like, well, you don't drive.
Yeah.
You can't drive, so of course you're trapped here.
Yeah.
You get a public transport. I can leave and go wherever I want. Yeah. If our families and that objected, it would have been harder. I think I would have questioned him. I mean, I already questioned him quite hard when we went into it.
Yeah.
Would have pressed him a bit harder to make sure it's what he wanted to do. But I suppose, I mean, I'm the youngest of like 11 children. So I've spent years of people criticising my shit.
Yeah.
And eventually I came to a point where I was just like, you know, guys, back off and stop judging me.
Yeah.
It would have been harder. I probably would have hesitated a bit more. But I would have still done it, I think. If it was right and it felt right. And both of us couldn't sleep the night we put in the offer.
Yeah.
We were super excited to see it because we checked it on the internet again. They didn't have many photos up of it. We're like, oh, you know, it looks really cool. And we were excited that night before we went and saw it. We went and saw it. It was awesome. So I think we were both same level. But if it hadn't been something that we'd liked as much, and my mum had actually seen the one we quite liked beforehand as well. And when she walked into the new one, she's like one we actually ended up buying. She was like, "No, this is way better." Yeah. So yeah, I suppose it would have been harder, but I probably still would have done it. Yeah. Just because at the end of the day, it's really your decision. Yeah. I'm the one who's going to have to live there and pay the staff. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyways.
That'll do.
Mm-hmm.